Hey everybody, welcome to the Jason Factor. So in the first episode, I took you guys on a quick tour of the garage. I introduced you to my Jaguar XJ Supercharged and my Mazda RX-7 FD. Now, from a build perspective, both the Jaguar and the RX-7 are pretty much complete. However, we are going to be featuring them in a bunch of upcoming episodes where we'll go a lot more in depth and have tons of fun with both those cars. I also introduced Project Copperhead, which is the Nissan 300ZX Twin Turbo right behind me. Now, this car was purchased specifically for this channel, so I really hope you guys enjoy following the build. We're going to be going around the Nissan 300ZX Twin Turbo and figure out what it needs and what it doesn't need, but mostly what it needs because unfortunately it needs a lot. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. This is where the fun starts. This is where the fun begins. Obviously, to get an exact idea of the condition of the paint and the interior, the car's going to need a really good wash, but this walk-around is going to give us a good idea of what we're dealing with. So if we start at the front bumper, it's actually in really good condition, except for all of the paint chips in the lower skirt and behind where the front license plate bracket was. The front emblem is faded, but that's not a big deal to replace. The two lights are in really good condition, as is the rubber seals and moldings all around it. The hood actually has multiple issues. Number one, it doesn't close, so there's obviously some sort of alignment issue. I did some reading online and I have an idea of what it could be, but we'll deal with that later. The other issue is that it's one, maybe two shades off in terms of color from the rest of the car. And what is this? The backstory behind this hood is that when the car was originally put for sale, the guy selling this, who's a really good guy, by the way, he also owns a silver Nissan 300ZX Twin Turbo. This car was being advertised with a carbon fiber hood that I didn't really like, so he offered to swap hoods. When I went to go look at the car, though, I saw this homemade patch job, and what he told me was that they closed the hood on a tool and ended up dinging the hood and tried to fix it, but as you can see, that didn't turn out so good. The front driver's side fender is in really good condition. There's no dings or dents or scratches. The OEM 300ZX wheels are in really good condition, especially for the year of the car, but we'll most likely be changing those out to aftermarket wheels. I have a couple of wheels that I have in mind that I want to put on this car, so if we can find them, we'll end up swapping those out. The driver's side door, the door skin is good. There's no dents or anything. The mirror is good. The one thing that is an issue is the moldings. They're faded and chipped, so we'll have to deal with that. And that's a common theme around the car. The rear quarter is good. The rear hatch glass is good. The molding around the glass is good. That brings us to this beautiful piece of engineering, the spoiler. I think it was from 1990 to 93 that Nissan had this wraparound style wing on the turbo models, and it was made with a really dense rubberized material, and it was made to be a little bit flexible to really contour and hug the lines of the car. The problem is it didn't withstand the test of time. What would happen is it would absorb water and it would rot from the inside out, and because it was flexible, it would expand and contract with temperature changes, so you get all of this awesome cracking in the paint and all that. So this will be tossed, and we'll replace that with a fiberglass unit. Underneath it are some really ghetto tinted taillights. The rear bumper's in good condition other than needing a respray as well, just like the front bumper. The exhaust on this car actually sounds really, really good. I'm not a huge fan of the exhaust tips, and you can see that they're dented, but I can't just replace the exhaust tips because they are actually part of the mufflers, but I do have an idea of how I'm going to fix that, and we'll do that in a future episode. Rear passenger side quarter looks good. The door skin looks good. Same issue here with the molding, which we'll have to redo. A very annoying thing that I noticed here is that this T-top is missing a small finishing cap at the end. So I'm probably going to have to find a whole new T-top and pull that little piece off, have that little piece painted, and get that back on there. Front fender looks good. It's missing the plastic cowl in between the hood and the windshield, which is also a little bit of a bummer because from what I read online, it's really difficult to find that in good condition used. So we'll probably end up having to buy a new one, and they can get pricey. The last thing I wanted to show you guys is these little caps, finishing caps on top of the bolts for the windshield wipers. They're both missing. Hopefully Nissan didn't make them specific to the 300ZX, and I can cross-reference the part number. If not, I'm sure we'll be able to find them somewhere. All right, guys, let's hit up the interior, see what we have. So the first thing I noticed was when we put the window down, it's missing this, I guess, a little trim cover piece that covers that bolt on the pillar there. It's not missing on the other side, though. That's how I knew something was actually supposed to go there. It's missing a tweeter in the door. Everything else looks good. It's got a broken clip on the door card, so we'll fix that. Now, this interior is actually what drew me to this car in the first place. I absolutely love the color combo and the stitching and the seating. All this was done not too long ago, so everything's in really good condition. I get it, this is probably a love it or hate it color combo, but like I said, I really like it. You can see the center console, the dash, and everything's in really good condition. We've got some gauges there, boost gauge, water temp, and it looks like a wideband O2. So you can see this car started life as a NA car because it's a 2+2 left-hand drive, which never came in a twin turbo in North America. But somewhere along the lines, obviously, somebody swapped the twin turbo drivetrain, which is very common in the 2+2s in North America. Take a look under here. We see a bunch of exposed wiring. We'll have to tidy all that up. Missing a kick panel. Missing some screws. You can see the actual seat is loose, so I'm hoping that's just missing some bolts. The headliner is actually in really good condition. That's another piece that's hard to come by. It's missing both sun visors, and there is a slight tear right here in the liner, but I'm sure with a vinyl repair kit we can get that almost as good as new. Go to the other side. This is that trim piece that I was saying was not missing on this side, so you can see it there. Again, missing the tweeter, but it's also missing the trim around the vent. You can see the exposed ECU. Everything just kind of hanging there. Obviously, there was some sort of sound system in this car at one point in time with all the wires exposed. Missing the stereo system, so we'll probably get a nice double DIN nav unit in there. Got a Greddy turbo timer, Greddy boost controller. So missing a trim cover there that would cover the bolt that holds that in. So a bunch of little things. Overall, the interior is actually pretty good, but a bunch of little pieces missing, which is going to be a little difficult to find. So it's going to be fun tracking those pieces down and getting everything buttoned up. Let's take a look at the hatch, see what we're dealing with in there. Okay, well, I went to open the hatch, and the first thing I found out that was missing are the gas struts to help you open the hatch. I had no idea that hatches were this heavy. I thought that the latch wasn't working and it wasn't opening, but watch this. Just gonna get that ready. Okay. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. All right. I got this. Put that there. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't fall. All right. Okay, so now that my workout is done, let's take a look inside the hatch and see what we got. Well, we got a bunch of pieces. So this thing, I have no idea what it is. We'll toss that aside. That looks like it's the trim piece for the hatch. It looks like it's cracked, so we'll try to salvage that one. If not, there's another thing that we need to buy. Carpets. 1, 2, 3. I'm no mathematician, but there should be 4. I'll figure that out later. So these are the covers that go on the T-tops. They look pretty good, actually. Well, that's good. Another trim piece that I have no idea what it's for. Another one just like it. Goes there. So these struts, I actually looked at the part numbers, and as it turns out, the struts that are installed here are actually for a 2+0. So that's why they don't work on this car, being a 2+2. They're actually a little too short. So when I did try to attach them, I couldn't close the hatch fully. So that's why they're not installed. So we'll have to order the right part numbers for those. Here's another trim piece, also cracked. Figure out where that's for. And what the heck is this? Well, that looks like it is the trim cover for the speakers. There's another one here, except this one has fabric on it. These, I believe, yeah, are the bags for the T-tops. 1, 2, oh, here are the visors. Not that great condition. They're okay, but we'll see if I can find some in better condition. There's the other one. Yeah. Kind of gross. And a whole bunch of wires. And what is this? Oh. Oh, this is good. This is the cowl piece that we mentioned earlier. This way, that way, this way, no idea. But it actually looks like it's in perfect condition, so that's a bonus. That's good. So we got some clear corners, which I probably will not end up using. What I'll do, guys, I'll probably make a list eventually of all the extra pieces that I have, and if there's anybody out there looking for them, I'll just ship them off to you. And you can see, you know, it's all making sense now. Look at all these wires. I was wondering why he had that on there. Now I know. Apparently, one of the owners just really, really liked wires. There, here, there. Oh, silver mirror. Why? I have no idea. Car was never silver. Looks like we're missing a trim piece that covers the ABS module there, and I don't think it was one of the trim pieces that I removed out of here. That looks like some sort of interior, I think that's a ashtray piece. And no spare tire, but no rust. That's actually really good. All right, guys, so that's it for the tour of the inside and the outside of Project Copperhead, and we have a little bit of a better idea of what we're dealing with. I know it might seem like it's just a bunch of little things, but trust me, they're going to add up really quickly. On the exterior, for example, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to really just get away with just painting the front bumper and the rear bumper and the hood and then blending everything, or if the body shop's going to come back and say I have no choice but to paint the entire car, which is obviously going to set me back a few $1,000s. For the interior, the only big ticket item in terms of cost I can think of is the stereo system, probably about $1,000 there. The interior trim pieces that are missing, I would say add another few $100s, but the hard part is going to be tracking these items down because this is an older car, it is rare, and especially in this area, so I'm probably going to have a road trip or two ahead of me, which is fine, it's all part of the fun. Also, we haven't even touched the engine, the transmission, the turbos. I have no idea if any of that needs work. We haven't put the car on the lift yet, so I have no idea if the underside of the car needs any work as well, suspension-wise, body-wise, or what we're dealing with. But I have a feeling once we dive into all those things, the list is going to keep growing and growing and growing. With that said, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. If you enjoyed what you saw, please go ahead and click the subscribe button and the like button. This is our second video, and from our first video alone, we have over 100 subscribers already, which is absolutely amazing. So a heartfelt thank you to all of you guys, and I hope to see you during the next video. See you guys. I wouldn't have it any other way. This is part of what makes things a project good. So we'll try to fix that. If not, we'll have to buy a new one. I can't get it out. But I have a feeling as we delve, is that a word? Delve? Tour of the inside and the outside. You know, that's all I got to say, bros.
Not a mechanic.